Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Maniac Monday. First and foremost, I hope each and every one of you had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you got to get out and enjoy the weather wherever you're at. Hopefully you're having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk on top of this. And then also like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing each and every one of you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, permitting my schedule. And then of course major holidays, I definitely won't be here. One last thing. Oh, yeah. Check out the information in the description box. I always try to give you a little bit bigger of a bite of the daily movie just to help entice you a little more into maybe checking it out or not. And what do I give you in there? I give you your brief synopsis, your starring cast, your runtime of the cut I am watching, director, MPAA rating, if there is one that exists, which there actually is one for today's movie, which is a rarity. And then also, what else do I put in there? Some trivia, if I find anything worthwhile of mentioning. And then, of course, a link for either a trailer or a scene from the movie itself. I try to have one of those in there for you can, just so you can kind of see what the vibe is and pick up a better judgment of what you're about to watch. All right, now that I got all that out of the way, let's roll on to the movie of the day. And today's is a freaking classic. It came out back in 1973, so this thing is old as dirt. It is pushing 50 years old, so definitely it has aged. They did remake it in the mid to early 2000s, if memory serves me correct. I want to say like 2006 or 2008, something like that. But either way, the remake is garbage. So let's roll on to the original, which is where it's at. It is none other than George A. Romero's The Crazies. Yes, this is one of the very first George Romero films I saw when I was a kid. Creepshow was number 1, and then Night of the Living Dead was number 2, and then this was number 3. I remember going into the video store with my carte blanche that I had with the local video store people. They let me rent basically whatever I wanted as long as it wasn't pornography, because my parents gave me a full-on access to whatever I wanted in that case. Granted, I was a little too young to be watching movies like this, but I still did anyways. That's where my heart, my love began, was all the way back in like 1986, 1987. So it's been a really long time. Anyways, now this is the Arrow video release, not that old Blue Underground DVD release. This one, it is a standard issue pressed Blu-ray, just to let you know. It also does have a reversible artwork, which you get here with that newly commissioned stuff, which I kind of like it, but I am Mr. Old School himself, and I am going with the original artwork that I remember it being as. And let me get this thing shut here. Boop, boop. Anyways, but this is the artwork that I love to go with. I tend to go with the old school original stuff. Now, as far as special features go, this thing is packed to the gills as usual by Arrow Video. They always do an amazing job with special features. Sometimes they goof up on color transfer and color timing and other things like that, but you know what, not everybody's perfect. But either way, I tend to go with Arrow Video over a lot of labels nowadays. Not unless it's Vinegar Syndrome or Severin. Those two are both amazing. But anyways, now what is this bad bitch about? It's basically about, in this small town, a airplane crashes, and it basically releases a biological chemical weapon that is meant to turn people into these crazed lunatics. And what happens is it gets into the water supply, and slowly but surely all these people are turning into these crazies. The government is, the army in particular, is dispatched to come in and take care of the situation, cordon off the town, don't let anybody in or out. really put in your maximum effort of basically gathering all these people and putting them in camps and basically leaving them there to die. It's crazy to think that these camps like this would exist, but there's evidence that some of them do. But either way, I am not getting into that shit. But either ways, they're taken to these like safe zones, which happens to be a school, and they're basically herding them into there as like their cattle. And now while they're there, there's this small group of friends. It's two firefighter guys, the main firefighter and his girlfriend, who happens to be a nurse, gets a antibiotic shot from her doctor friend that she works for. Now they aren't thinking that this is going to be a cure, but they're thinking it'll help slow the process and stop it from basically turning you into a monster. So they meet up. They're on the run, and they meet Lynn Lowrey, the beautiful Lynn Lowrey, and one of my favorite character actors from back in the day, Richard Liberty, who you guys should know him from Day of the Dead as Dr. Frankenstein, who is just an amazing character in his own. But they all meet up together. They're on the run. They run into resistance along the way by running into these fellas that are dressed from head to toe in these white jumpsuit type things with breathing apparatuses, and they're armed and packed to the gills with weaponry. So you got them trying to get away from all these people, and while this is going on, you have a great scientist. I forget the actor's name off the top of my head, but he was also in Day of the Dead as a scientist in there who did "Oh, you're all dummies, 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 dummies," yeah, that guy. He's great in here playing this lead scientist, and he's got this woman sidekick there that they're trying to kick ass in, and they may or may not have found a variant that may attack what is causing this biological warfare to slow it down, to make it stop. And in the process, he is lumped in with the Crazies. They think he is one of them. He ends up getting killed in the process. It's a very, very sad ordeal, because it's one of those where you think, oh my God, the good guys are going to win. Unfortunately, Virus wins in this one. But with that group that's on the run that I was telling you about, they are slowly becoming crazy themselves, to the point that Lynn Lowrey approaches a bunch of these soldiers and gets killed. Richard Liberty, who plays Lynn Lowry's father, at one point he basically rapes her. It is a very, very disgusting scene, incest rape. And he eventually ends up killing himself over it, because it's a disgusting thing, and to not basically recognize what you were doing at the moment because your brain is infected with this weapon. Yes, it is a very fun movie. As you can see, I have told you almost everything about this movie in a very short, condensed time. Now, as far as anything else would go on this movie, I do want to mention that this movie caused a huge stink over one scene at the very, very end of the movie, rolling into the credits. I believe he is a colonel, who is played by an African-American man, and he strips down naked and is given these new clothes to in hopes that it'll kill the virus, because they found out that with UV light it can't live in the air, so they're using that as kind of a defense shield, in other words. But this scene where he strips down and he's getting hauled off in this helicopter, there was locals that were there to witness the scene going down. They threw a huge fit, not only because he's an African-American man, but he was naked on screen, and it went into the final product. And it really, really offended people, and that is the beauty and the joy of George A. Romero. The man had no limits, no boundaries when it came to race or religion or anything of that nature. That's why I love Romero. He was definitely an open-minded genius when it came to filmmaking. Granted, towards the end of his career, Bruiser, Survival of the Dead, Diarrhea of the Dead, those movies are just horrendous, and I try not to acknowledge that crap. But either way, nobody stays on top forever, and nobody bats 1,000 in the film genre. That's for sure, or even entertainment in general. Now, so let's roll on to what kind of a rating would I give this thing. On a technical side, this thing is a phenomenal thing. Romero used it was somewhat not used at the time, but now it's used very, like, it's almost become cliche. It's used so much, but Romero was basically cut, different angles in all of these different scenes, basically to keep your mind rolling and keep you more engaged. It's a psychological thing that he used to keep your mind almost not at ease, almost with an unease. So it kept you going in these like manic type episodes. If you understand what I'm saying there, where I'm going with this. But either way, top notch. The acting is always a little hit or miss with the Romero movie. He usually does get a few top stars, like in Creepshow or Night Riders or Two Evil Eyes, and he's got other ones that have other huge stars in it. But the guy clearly had his fingers on the pulse of society at the time. People were scared of the Cold War still, so you have that to add on to it. It is just, it makes my heart happy watching this movie. So I'm going to give this on a 1 through 5 scale. I'm going to give this bad bitch a 4. Yes. This is a 4 in my opinion. It is far from being a perfect film, but it is pretty close for what it is. I highly recommend it, guys. Please go check out the Crazies. Do yourself a huge favor. You can watch the remake if you want. The only thing that I like about the remake was that it was made in my home state. So that's about it. Anyways. All right, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Ooh, I swore again. I've been cussing like a sailor in this video. But either way, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I got things to do. I'll see you, not tomorrow, but Wednesday with another amazing one. I think I'm going to do a horror comedy one, independent one that I came across or was given to me that I've been wanting to review for you guys for a while. So tune in Wednesday, please. All right.